All right, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and now finally Twitch. And this is my first post on Twitch.
This is
So
your first stream on Twitch?
I guess you could call it a stream post. More of
Whatever.
a stream, not really a post. But yeah, looking forward to see how things go with Twitch. So
Have you
anyways,
have you ever done much on Twitch before? I mean, I know this is your first one, but have you
nope.
ever? No. Okay,
Yeah, I'm still in the learning process.
I got you. Okay, I'm gonna
So
share this up.
all right. So for everybody watching, if you could hit the like button, it's a nice way of telling the algorithm to go fuck itself, which is what I do on a daily basis.
Yes.
Um,
Sometimes.
hit the share button if you're watching this on Facebook. If on Twitter, hit the retweet. On YouTube, you can just hit the share button, share it on Facebook. But then again, you're just going to piss the algorithm off by doing that. So, so anyway, we also, if you want to donate to the cause, you'll see the little scrolling information at the bottom. Also, jump in the comments. Any comments I like, I will. We will be responding to the comments. Shout out to Richard Reed. Said, "What's
What
up?
up, Richard?
Good afternoon, people." Anyways, let's. We only have an hour, so let me introduce my guest. This is the second time he's been on the podcast. I've been on his once. This time, we're gonna go a little deeper with the tips and advice, which is basically what my podcast has become. So if you're an up and coming artist of any genre and you've made the music, you just want to know what to do next. That's what this podcast is dedicated to. So without further ado, from Wichita, Kansas, we've got Dusty Grant.
How you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a year.
Yes, it has.
All right. Let's do a quick introduction for those who don't know who you are.
I started out as a singer-songwriter in Wichita. I started in 2017. I played my first show in September of 2017, and from there, I put together some small tours, regional tours, stuff like that. I played about 100 shows in 7 states. And it was really important to me at that point to like kind of get out on the road and validate myself and get my chops up. And I just needed that experience. So I did a lot of that as a solo acoustic artist up until last year. We started playing some full band stuff. I got an opportunity to play a full band show, and then I put a band together, and the band just kind of stuck. And now we're writing hard rock songs, and we're getting ready to release a full band hard rock song here in April. And it's it's kind of evolved, over the last 5 years. I started out as a metal and rock guy, and then I went acoustic, and then now it's kind of evolving back to the full band rock thing because it's kind of it's in my blood, I guess.
Well, that's funny because that was the topic I titled for our last interview, from metal band to solo artist, because that's what we got in common.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, speaking of Wichita, I'm actually repping Wichita tonight. I've got the Waking the Sleeper hat on, and then the Elbow Room shirt. I see you've got the Elbow Room hat. So
yes, sir.
Oh yeah, man. So let's dive into it. So talk about everything that you have as far as your brand. You got a website, you've done touring, you've got a catchy looking logo, and yeah, man, just dive into it to everything, because one thing that I've always like admired about you, other than the cool ass beard,
thank you,
is you're above the average singer songwriter, or as you could put, solo acoustic artist. Like I know you've done the open mics / jams, the coffee shops, but the dive bars, but you have a lot more to offer than just the average acoustic rock artist. So I was wondering if you could kind of just tell everybody overall like what your brand and contains, website, logo, music videos, things of that nature.
It's been, it's been an evolution, definitely. We know from being in rock bands before, you always wanted to do everything big,
Hmm.
but it's always been super important for me to differentiate by having things look professional from the very beginning. Looking at it as trying to look at yourself objectively as an outsider and say, okay, if I saw this, would I be interested in it when I was scrolling by? And I think a lot of artists sell themselves short in that regard, as far as, graphic design right away, all that type of thing. You have to put it out there. So for me, at first, it was just kind of cutting my teeth, getting to know the ropes. But then I paid for a professional logo. I wanted a nice looking logo. If I did have a chance to get on a good flyer, I wanted it to look nice. I wanted
Yeah.
to have a website. I wanted to have my press kit from my website. If you email me, I want it to be at dustygrant.com. I want to show up on time. I want to be punctual. I want to have professional looking photos, professional looking videos, things of that nature that I think get you opportunities over other people. Because if it comes down to me and you and your stuff looks better than mine, you're going to get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I've always kind of had that mentality, and I've tried to strive to really, have a polished, clean branding and all that type of thing. And it's an evolution. It's always morphing. It's always changing. Right now, my website is probably my biggest hub. I've been focusing on my email list a lot more, focusing on writing blogs lately, which is something that's new, that's been working well for me. I've been focusing on TikTok. Um, and I still have the Facebook stuff and the Instagram and the Twitter stuff going, but it's getting so tough to fight the algorithms. It's
Hmm.
it's it's so tight. Everything is so tight unless you want to pay. And I mean, at some point, you can't always pay for everything. So
Right.
I've been trying to take my people that are interested in my music and bring them more into a medium where I have control over what they see and when, as opposed to an algorithm feeding them ads. And even if they went to my page and seeked out my content, they still don't see it. And so it's frustrating as an artist when people are like, you have a new song out? You're like, Jesus, it's been out for a fucking week and nobody's seen it because it's been blocked. So I've been striving on that. It's a tough road, just
Hmm.
because so many people are on social media all the time. But yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing with my brand. It's like, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, why would somebody else invest in you? Why would
Exactly.
someone invest their free time, invest their money? I only have 20 minutes to listen to music per day. Why should I listen to yours? And I try to have that mentality about my stuff, and I try to carry that forward and be really meticulous about it, because it's important to me. It's important to me that I put myself out there in the best light as I possibly can.
Absolutely. So since you brought up Facebook and algorithm, and I'll try to drop it after this, but I know something. Okay, so Facebook recently disabled my personal account.
I saw that.
Yeah, they've been go. I've been in and out of Facebook jail just over posts that they deem offensive and all that fun stuff. And then so I had to start over with a new page. I had people questioning if it was me or if because uh I had had enough as my middle name was one word, just so that way, because I try to make sure that even with the personal account, my artist name is in there. Because a lot of times when I have or artist rapper friends on Facebook, sometimes I even forget what their artist name is because I just see their real name.
Right.
Just I don't know, just something to bring up. But so I did it like that, and then as of right now, I'm up to like 600 friends. Right on my last one, I was in the 4,000s. I would say the amount of reactions, like likes, engagement, is about the same with less
I,
friends. And I read an article saying like you should be selective because you definitely want people in your, whether it be your you want people who are actually engaging, and of course, you should be doing some engaging yourself. So, but I noticed that. So, I don't know. In some ways, I guess getting a new page was kind of like a blessing. In some ways, there's still some pictures and stuff that is lost forever, unfortunately. So, I'm learning to kind of keep that, not rely on
Oh yeah,
having
like
having a Facebook.
I'll have I don't know how many people I have on my artist page now. It's almost
Hmm.
7,400 or something like that. And
Right.
I'll make a post, and sometimes, I mean, less than 100 people will see it. I mean, if you think
Yeah,
about the percentages, I mean,
I
it's
noticed that.
what's the point for me to focus? They're like, run an ad, grow your page, run an ad, grow your page. Like, why should I grow my page? You're not going to show it to anybody.
Yeah.
I have to
Um,
pay you. So if I'm just paying anyway, why focus on it? I'll grow something else.
my reach on my artist page has actually gotten better. I just recently reached 11,500 fans around the time after I released my last single, Hall of Flames, and I pushed that a lot. So I was pushing it to so I ran some ads and tried to reach new people, and it went very well. So I noticed, because my reach would usually be about 100, or maybe be lucky if it hit 500. Now certain posts are starting to hit the thousands. So, but I'm noticing but I'm also like posting more often now, at least once a day. But also the audience has grown, there's still a good portion of the audience on there who's not seeing posts, or but I would say everything as far as organically, that's increased. So it's hard to say, maybe just because I have more people following me now.
When I
So
focus on it,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on growing my Facebook engagement. I can do
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But it's, I've seen results other places that have driven me away from Facebook in a way, and
Hmm.
I'm focusing a lot more on my group. I've got a Facebook group, the DG and
Right.
Friends group, and it's about 1,400 people. And when I post in there, it seems to get quite a bit of engagement. And I try to focus more on doing cool stuff in there, and like
Hmm.
keeping conversations going and funny memes and shit. Like, but they're all related to what's going on, and everybody in there is cool. And if anyone acts like a
Hmm.
dick in there, I throw them out. I don't like, I'm not having it in there. You're not going to treat my people bad. We're not having trolls in here.
Yeah.
Um, but I've been finding myself using TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
Like I use TikTok more, and I spend more time focusing on my blogs and my emails. Not as many people see them, but the people that do see them are the people that truly care, and they have come to me and signed up for my email, which tells me like this person gives enough of a shit about what you're doing to actually, type something in and click a button, and they're not just scrolling and liking stuff. Because let's face it,
Exactly.
we have a lot of fans where that's all they do. They scroll and they
Right.
like something, and then they say they're your fan. But there's levels to that shit, and the email list has been a great way, and the blog has been a great way. And it doesn't get a ton of views, but the people that view it they like it, and the people that really are investing in me and Patreon and stuff like that. Like I've been trying to steer away from Twitter and Facebook and Instagram because it's so hard to grow unless you're paying. And
That's true. Yeah.
you can grow organically on TikTok. You can grow
Yeah.
you can do those things if you're posting good content. And I mean, it's a push pull all the time, but
Yeah. Also, yeah, I've been noticing. I'm starting to get a little bit more involved in TikTok. One thing I just found out, you can actually post videos up to 10 minutes on TikTok now, and
yeah.
that was the one thing that steered me away from TikTok for a while, or at least I just wasn't into it a whole lot. And then when I saw how Reels were becoming, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube were all pushing for it too, because they're trying to compete with TikTok. But because to me, it's just like, man, I just can't think of of all the things that's so against art. I feel like only a 60-second clip is on that list. Like I can give you a 16 bar verse or whatever, but you're not going to get the chorus.
But
You know what I mean?
let's face it. You know, we're in a
Yeah.
world where people's attention span is about this long.
That's what they're appealing to, I think.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and you have to find ways to hook people.
Hmm.
And I've noticed some of my most popular TikToks are things I do just spontaneously. Like one day I just got on there and I was like, if you're an artist and your tactics are spamming links to people in their messenger the second they friend you, stop it. And I just made a
Please
TikTok
stop
like
it.
that, and I was like, "Stop that shit! It's annoying. No one's gonna listen to you." Blah blah blah. And that one was like, boom, and it just took off. And people were like, "Preach! God damn it, that's so annoying! Like, if someone does
Facts.
that to me, if someone does that to me, I will not listen to their music on purpose." You know, and it's like you never know what's gonna catch on there. But what you have going for you is like once you reach 1,000 followers, you can have a link in your profile. So if
Hmm.
people start liking your stuff, you know, then they'll follow your link tree and they'll look up your music or whatever. And I have gained a few like real music fans that way.
Yeah.
But the 3 to 4 minutes, like Pat said, I mean, you write a
Mhm.
song, you
Yeah.
can write a song as long as you want, but I mean, most people are going to listen for 3 or 4 minutes and they're going to go somewhere else, you know?
Right. All right. While we're talking about TikTok, because that's the main that kind of goes into the main topic. We already touched on how to build a brand. I mean, you definitely touched on, it all. I always say, I tell everybody it starts with a logo. Start with a
Definitely.
logo. That way, people have something visually to identify you. Obviously, you in general, visually how you look, and your dress codes, things of that nature. So, definitely a website. I mean, I know we're
And
talking
that
about,
that's something I think a lot of artists miss out
Mhm.
on these days is like the aesthetic that you
Yeah.
have too as an artist and your personal brand and everything like that. Like
Hmm.
I'm not I'm just being who I am, but if you're being authentic, like authenticity goes a long way with branding, I think, if you can
Oh,
be
for
honest and be
sure.
yourself, you know.
That's another thing I was wanting to do more, like with when it comes down to like TikTok and then Reels, stuff like that. Do more of kind of being just transparent.
Yeah.
I try to respond to as many comments, so that way, especially as I start noticing new fans popping in, so that way they know this isn't just someone posting music and getting off. This is actually someone that cares about the fact they're engaging and he wants to, So I always make that a priority. But anyway, but I want to go. I'm also want to go back to, if you go to my TikTok, there's a lot of videos of me just hanging out at a bar or something like that. Like there's one where I'm at a karaoke bar, and there's one where I'm at a show. Really, just in there. There's not really a whole lot to like. It doesn't really tackle any type of like category, but I started to get some pretty decent, and that was just like an experiment, kind of throw shit against the wall, see if it
Oh,
sticks.
yeah.
And I don't know, I got some pretty decent reactions from that. So I think, and that's something you probably won't see a whole lot on TikTok is short videos of people just like living their life, and it's like what they do. That's what they do. So I was going to do a little bit more of that, a little bit more like vlogs, like at the shows, me and my friends just talking shit, you know, just
Yeah.
whatever. So I try to do a little bit more of that, so you kind of see the in the day of the life, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I just think it gets, and I notice people. I notice people kind of enjoy the behind the scenes. It's kind of like you're not there, but it's kind of like you would kind of know what happens, backstage, before and after the show, before you go on stage, all that good stuff. So to talk about TikTok, because this was definitely what I feel like I definitely need you back on the podcast. Is you give a lot of tips and advice. Um, I actually went through quite a few of them today.
Yeah,
So
it's been something that when I got on TikTok, I was super skeptical. Like, quite frankly, I was just skeptical as hell.
yeah,
And I was like, I need to do it. And I was just kind of doing it to do it because I thought I had to. And I wasn't really investing a lot in thinking about the content or being creative with the content or being myself with the content.
Mhm.
I was just like, well, people tell me I need to be on TikTok, so I'll do that. And so
Yeah.
I was doing that, but then I started spending a little more time on the app and liking things that I actually like. And as the algorithm started to figure out what I started seeing independent musicians. I started seeing music promotion people. I started seeing marketing people. I started seeing people that tell you how to grow your TikTok. I started seeing like, marketing nerds like me,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, now this is cool. Like now I spend more time watching TikTok than I do on Facebook because I'm sick of the keyboard warriors, man. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
Facebook is a toxic
Oh God.
ass piece of shit most of the time. I mean, anyone can be a tough guy on Facebook. Anyone can say anything they want to say. And on TikTok, it just seems like I can just go until I find stuff I like, watch it, move on,
Mhm.
like it, comment, interact with that person.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I wasn't investing a lot of time in it. And then so I started like I think I don't remember what the first one was, but I sat down for a minute and I started riffing on some promotion tactics or techniques, and people were like, "Bro, thank you for sharing this. I didn't know this, or I never thought about it, or whatever." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay." And so I started looking at the analytics, and I'm like, "Man, a lot of people gravitated towards that type of content, and there's a lot of musicians out there that want to connect with other musicians. I mean, we're all in this together."
Mhm.
And if you're putting out shitty content, you're ruining it for everyone else because people tend to see crappy stuff and then they think that's what independent art is. And
Yeah.
it's like if we all do better, we're gonna have a better chance of people watching and listening to our
Yeah.
music. And so
Uh, let's talk about analytics because that's the other topic is to how artists can understand analytics and understand numbers, and then let's talk about that, and then we'll crack into the advice you put out on TikTok. Yeah, let's talk about analytics because I'm totally I check that a lot. I'm totally like looking at what cities and states I'm getting viewers from. I watch my YouTube analytics like a lot. Fact for YouTube, I tell everybody to get TubeBuddy. It breaks everything down, and it's real helpful for you to like reach good like SEO.
yeah,
So for those that know what that is, but it's real important.
search
Um,
engine optimization.
yeah. So, but yeah, I've noticed things. In fact, just the other day, YouTube finally like verified me as an official artist channel, and it gave you that little like treble, not the check mark, but the little treble right next to
Yeah,
my name, and that wasn't there before. So I noticed that came. So I do
truth.
fully, and and I've only been using TubeBuddy like I don't know, maybe 4 weeks. So and I'm still kind of learning it, but it does help you like make your YouTube videos more public, more present. Um, so it has a nice option to make your own thumbnail, which is super easy. So obviously that's a big thing with YouTube and everything. But no, man, talk about your side of analytics and why you think they're important to pay attention to.
I mean, I watch mine like a hawk. I'm a numbers guy anyway. I watch them all day, every day. I mean, if whenever I have a minute, I check on stuff. I want to see who's watching where. I want to see who's listening where. I want to know what I'm posting that's working and what's not. I definitely don't just build my strategy around sheer analytics. Like I have to pay attention to them, but sometimes I post what I want. I post what I want when I want because I mean, I think people want to see candid stuff from people. I'm a human being. I had a terrible day today. I have an idea for a TikTok that I'm going to make after we get off this podcast.
Nice.
But it's like I want to be I want to be transparent, but at the same time, like I don't want to piss in the wind. If I run a promotion that I think is good, but then the analytics tell me that it sucked, I won't run that promotion again. If you're budgeting for ads, you can figure out your ad spend, what's working, what's not, your cents per click, where are those clicks going, what's most effective, what is your most effective platform. And it goes all the way down to, for me, keeping track of accounting, even knowing where the money's coming in, where the money's going out, merch, and it helps you discern what you should be focusing your time on, because most of us as independent artists we don't have the luxury to just do this, like we're balancing full-time jobs, we're balancing family, we're balancing our lives outside of being an artist. But this shit is a full-time job. If you want to be an artist with any meaningful connection with anybody, it is a full-time job. I have 2 full-time jobs. I work a full-time job, and then this is I think about this constantly. I live, breathe, sleep, shit, eat, bleed, cry it, like it's a part of who I am. And I want to know, like, with this hour of my time that I can dedicate to this, what should I focus that time on? Should I focus that on posting on Facebook? Should I focus that on TikTok? And I'm looking at the analytics to tell me, because you can get lost if you're just objectively thinking about everything. You get lost if you don't have something to steer you a certain direction, and analytics do that for you. And it's a completely objective way. It takes all the guesswork out of it. The numbers do not lie. So when I'm posting or when I'm doing something, this is where I need to focus my attention. This is a priority. Like, I write shit down like this, which you probably can't even see it, but like I have a flow chart of things that I prioritize each week when I'm working on my social media strategies, all that stuff. When I'm helping other bands with their promotion strategies, I watch that stuff. I'm watching everything. This is what we need to focus on. This is what we need to discard, trimming the fat all the time, building a more efficient machine. And that's what your analytics do for you, man. It's just point blank.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do the same thing too. Like, whenever I finish running an ad, I look at how it did and all that. I will say, for if you do like Google, YouTube ads, 7 to 14 days is a pretty good time frame. For Facebook, honestly, 2 days has been my best one. And just I think I spent like $60 and run it for 2 and got a really good results out of that. So I mean, Instagram, I think I did like a couple of times on Instagram, and then I just got a bunch of, but from that, I got my DMs were flooded with producers who made beats.
Yeah, of course. Instagram, dude.
But it was kind of cool because it's people who wanted to collaborate with me. So, because I'll tell you one thing, just we're from different genres, but in hip hop, beat makers and producers, they're very particular on who raps on their beats. It's kind of
They should be.
They should be. Absolutely. But it's kind of like getting a good drummer.
Yeah.
Who wants to play in your band? Because
drummers, I totally get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of the same mentality. Like, you might find like a bassist and some guitar players who are like, well, I got nothing to do, I'll play in a band. Drummers are kind of, I call them similar to like producers and beat makers. Like, they're very, they do take their brand seriously, but when they hear someone, they're like, you would sound good on my beats. So it's always I would consider it a pretty good compliment when they reach out to you. So on that,
but those are effective ways. It's not always through the music that I'll connect with people. Like, some people will be like, how did you make that ad? How did you do that? How did you do this? And I'm like, hey, you want me to help you? I'll help people. People will message me and I'll be like, hey, let's do a campaign. Let me launch your single. Let me show you what I can do, and then they get the results and like, dang, how'd you do that? I'm like, I study this shit. I think about it all the time. I take seminars when other people are sitting around watching TV. I'll take a fucking online seminar to figure out how to do something.
I've done that myself. In fact, whenever I'm off work during the day, I will make coffee, or I'll get up early. Some days I'll make coffee and I'll just type on YouTube, how to get monetized on YouTube, or there's videos out there talking about back to the algorithm part of what the algorithm requires for TikTok, what it requires for Instagram, and all that stuff. And honestly, I stopped watching those videos because it got to a point about having an anxiety attack
Oh yeah.
because the algorithms keep changing and they're like, well, you got to post like this, you got to do it this time. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah,
You know,
there's certain people, dude. There's certain people on TikTok that'll be like, if you want to grow your TikTok, you have to post 6 to 8 times a day. And I'm like, fuck you. I am not.
yeah,
I can't just sit around and make fucking TikToks all day, guy.
right.
I gotta practice guitar. I gotta write songs. I gotta be a dad. I gotta fucking pay bills. Like, how do you have the time to make 8 TikToks a day, bro? Like, because I mean, they're clearly very like clean edited ads with text and everything. Like, I do 6 hours a week of just batching TikToks, and I just put them in my drafts and post. I'm like, where do you find the time for that shit? Like,
Okay.
you know, it does it. You get like social media burnout, social media anxiety. I mean, that is a real ass thing, especially in the position you and I are in.
Yeah. Let's while we're on. Okay, so I definitely want to get to the meat and potatoes of this interview. Let's talk about all the advice you've given on TikTok because you've given some good ones. I actually shared one of my favorites, which is say no to shitty gigs.
Yes, sir.
You want to jump in there? Maybe another detail you forgot to mention in there.
Well,
I,
I mean that's a big one, man. Like,
yeah,
because it all kind of depends on where you are in your journey too. You know, when you're just starting out and nobody knows who you are, and you get offered an opening spot at a decent venue, and you're not going to get paid, you should take it. You know, you should get in. You should make decisions for yourself that are going to get your eyes in the right. You know, get the right eyes on you. Start building relationships with the right people, other artists, promoters, concert booking people, fans of music in town, whatever. But like, once you get to a point where you start to establish yourself and you start to build a brand, you have to make smart decisions about where you're playing, when you're playing, with who you're playing. And I honestly think a lot of people just say yes to everything and ruin it for other people. You know, they oversaturate the market. They don't draw shit, and they're playing to play, which is fine. I mean, I can't hate on anybody. Just
yeah,
if you just want to play every night and you don't care about building a brand and you don't care about this and that, totally get it, totally respect that. But that's not what I want to do. And it's like, you
yeah,
have to say no to shitty gigs, because if you say yes to them, you're setting the market. Like, and bars are guilty of it too, though, because they will just find anybody, just any guy that they can get in there for $10 playing. They don't care. And then they wonder why nobody comes, or they wonder why the bar isn't, because the entertainment's not up to snuff, you
yeah,
know? But that's the thing. You have to say no if you're not getting treated right. If you know the work that you're going to put in, you know the performance that you're going to do, you know that you're bringing quality talent, you know that you're bringing an effort, and you strive and work hard on yourself. Sometimes you create more value for yourself by saying no. You know, so I've had a promoter in Tulsa offer me a show, and it was a basically a pay to play show, and it was a bigger show, but it was a pay to play show. And I was like, man, like, I'm not sure who you're talking to with that offer, but I'm not driving to fucking Tulsa and doing that. And he's like, man, I respect the shit out of you. Everybody else is saying yes. And he's like, but that's why you're offering that, because everyone's saying yes to it. And
yeah,
he's like, you're one of the only guys that said no. And I'm like, he's like, and actually, I respect the shit out of you for that. Next time I come to you, I'll bring you an offer that's worthwhile to get you down here. It's like,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Hmm.
You know, and I'm not saying I'm high and mighty about any of this stuff, but I am passionate about it. And I have passed on gigs that people I know have taken right after I passed on them. And I'm like, wow, that
Yep.
is
Same
not,
here.
that is
Same here.
not a good gig.
I'll tell everybody just from my personal experience. Last year, and a lot of it came down to not being able to do shows for a while because of the pandemic, and so I think after that I was just missing that. last year I made, I made a different grind. I kind of became I guess a dive bar performer. And next thing I knew, I had a show every weekend, and then I would stop and I'd go tour, and I'd come back and all that kind of stuff. And I had, you know, and I had other artists from other states I'm close to, and they just said, "Man, like I'm not knocking your hustle, but I kind of don't you think that you're kind of oversaturating your market?" And at the time, I didn't think about it because like I was just paying bills off of doing gigs, the merch was selling and all that kind of stuff. And so I was just busy, but I did get burnt out. After a while, it was like, I got another show. And, and on top of that, a lot of these bars, you have to bring your own sound. So I'm packing up my PA, you know, set up. It's a lot, it was a lot of work. And I did have a lot of I won't say a lot, but at least several of the artists I was doing shows with, they would help me. You know what I mean? They would help me do sound check. They would help pack up merch and stuff like that. So a lot of them were, so I had a lot of, and still do some support. And then once I looked at it, I said, you know what? I noticed some of the bars weren't really getting back to me about booking a date. And I start to notice the turnouts getting lower. And I'm like, you can't get people out every week. And I have I have a list of who I'll book on shows. And it has everything to do with the quality of the music, their personality, obviously good people, no drama queens, so to speak. And so, but all the shows were great and everything, we always had fun and we never had any problems. But when you kind of have the same lineup every weekend. And so I can definitely say from personal experience, that affects. And so that's an effect. So, but this year I even did a post where I said, "Hey, I'm cutting down," because even some of the tour dates I was doing, like I was trying to tour wherever, and then now I'm kind of being a little bit smarter about it, and so much is like, okay, because there were shows I did very well at where I'd come home and I made like $600, from like a 4-day tour, and some I broke even, and then there were dates where I was like, wow, we drove 5 hours and we made $30.
Yeah,
and
it's not worth it, man.
And there was a bad turnout. And that's not to say it's about the money, but when you're traveling and you're dealing with gas prices now, hotel prices are up, food, it's not,
it's economics, man. At some point, it's just sheer basic economics. At some point, you're like, I cannot.
So I came home. I came home and said, "All right, let me rethink my strategy for this coming year." And that's. And I had some people who didn't like how I addressed it about playing less shows and saying I'm just going to do quality shows. It was very odd. Most people were agreed, but I definitely had some people who thought maybe I was being a little kind of exercising maybe some toxic behavior by saying that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. You're never going to get criticized by people that are doing more than you. You're only going to get criticized by people that are doing less.
Maybe I didn't word it correctly or something, but I figured it was but I was really talking about me. Now I do advise artists and bands to try and minimize. It's okay to still come to my open mic every Wednesday, but as far as doing shows where you're promoting and you're pushing tickets, or you have a better chance of drawing in people when they can't just catch the next show.
Well, dude, Kenny used to tell me. Kenny used to tell me. Kenny.
Yeah,
you knew Kenny. But
yeah,
he mentored me, and especially now that he's gone, like I'm realizing it a lot more. And I'm hearing him talking to me a lot more. And I used to sit with him in the elbow room. I would get off work and meet him down there before the bar even opened, and we'd drink beers or whatever and talk shit about what's going on, or about music or whatever. And he would guide me, dude. He would be like, I'd be discouraged about this, and he'd be like, "Well, yeah, I saw that you played in Wichita 5 times last month. You know why I haven't offered you a show? Because you fucking played here. You need to say no every once in a while." And he'd be like,
Yeah.
if I ever see you take another show where they're building something by you while you're playing and they're not giving you a stage and good sound, he's like, I'm going to slap you. He's like, be better, do better for yourself, think high, like put a value on what you do. And then
Mhm.
other people will, like in some cases. Now you need to grind. You need to make a name for yourself. You need to
Mhm.
push. You need to show that you can. But once you've done that, and I mean, it just has to make sense. There's so
Yeah.
many of these venues out here that are like not real music venues. They just want to like almost prey on artists. You know, they don't have a stage, they don't have lights, they don't have a sound system. They expect you to bring everything. They expect you to do everything. They expect you to bring all the people, and they just want to sell the drinks. It's like, no,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
That is not a mutually beneficial relationship. And for a show to be successful, everyone has to be on board. And if you're playing every weekend, man, why would I go see you this weekend? Because I know I can see you next weekend again.
That's true. Now, what's your opinion on new artists, new bands who just started out? I have I my advice is I could see them playing, just consistently to get known. But if you have a following already, if you're new and you have, you don't really have, fans, or you don't really have people that would come out to see you, so you're performing. I think open mics and open jams are a good place to start, and then you can get gigs. There's artists that I'm putting on my actual shows when they came to my open mic, and I was madly impressed.
Right.
There was there's people who I could tell they're starting out, and I just said, keep practicing, like you have something. You just and I said, keep coming to open mic because it's a supportive, it's a very like humble and supportive and positive atmosphere, and that will build your confidence. And then with that, you'll get better and better. So, so stuff like that. But here's one thing I noticed was there would be an artist or a band who would do the first show, and they would bring everybody they knew, and they would pack out the entire venue, and then after that, the blood in the water the blood was in the water, and all the sharks came and said, I'm gonna put you on my show, I'm gonna put you on this show. Why? Because they saw the bag of money. They knew, okay, they're drawing in people, they're gonna spend money at the bar, but they're also gonna spend money at the door. And I'm not saying every promoter it's actually smart to grab artists and bands who can draw a crowd. That's obviously like good business, but it's one when but that doesn't mean that the shark promoters aren't there to just capitalize on that. Do they not care about your band or your or who
They
you
don't give a
are?
shit. They have a bar to run.
Yeah.
They want to sell drinks. That's all. You know, like
Yeah, yeah. But then it wasn't long till I saw those same artists and bands couldn't draw at all because they would play every weekend, and they were on all these shows in their city. And then eventually people are like, you couldn't get them. You can't get them to every show. I definitely recommend at least once a month in your market. I would do once a month, maybe, but it's okay. One thing I've done before was at the beginning of the month and then at the end of the month. But for the most part, you kind of want to do it once a month and then stop, go on tour, or just take a break to work on your music and other things, and then take a break from your hometown for maybe 2 months, then come back or something
yeah,
like
I
that.
would. I mean, I would
Switch
do
it up,
that. Like especially when I was especially when I was like in the first couple years of really just building and grinding and trying
Mhm.
to make contacts and trying to meet other artists from other cities and trying to build my network. You know, I was a lot more open to taking more shows, and sometimes I would take 3 shows in a month in Wichita because I would book one. You know, like say I would book something at the Elbow Room and then I would get something, offered to me opening for somebody that was a bigger artist or something. I would take it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I did that for sure. But I know now, like I've been in this situation a couple times here lately where we've wanted to put a show together and book some artists. And then we're like, well, what else do you have booked? And they're like, well, we have 3 other shows in that month. And we're like, well, I'm not going to put you on this one then because this is the
Mhm.
last one. Everyone's going to have burnout by the time it gets like, and And I think some artists just get excited to play, which I totally understand, because right now I am itching to play and I haven't
Yeah.
played since November. But I'm also in a building phase and I'm in a transition phase, and you have to be smart and calculated about how you do stuff, because sometimes uh, I don't know. I think if you oversaturate yourself, like you hear it with huge artists all the time. I heard a situation where there's a national tour coming here through Wichita, and there's another band that was supposed to be on that tour, and something got muddied the water or whatever, and then somebody found out that somebody was playing here, more than once in a month or something, and it changed the whole dynamic of how they booked the tour and everything like that, because it's a real thing, man. All the
Yeah.
pros tell you don't oversaturate your market. All the promoters in town, eventually they're not going to book you if they see that you're playing. If I want to book you in the fourth week of the month, but I see you've already played in Tulsa 4 times that month, I'm not going to book you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of promoters are very cognizant of that stuff too.
Yeah. There's really not the I don't think there's really any promoters in Tulsa left for the most part. Every promoter is like one of us. They're like an artist, and yeah, I don't. I from what I don't really recall someone who's strictly just a promoter. I think that's one thing Tulsa's actually kind of missing right now. So I just now thought of that.
I think everything's super oversaturated right now too. I
It
think
is.
everybody wants to play out. Everybody's itching to get out. There's a lot of soft offers out there, but everybody's taking them because everybody hasn't been out and they got merch to sell and they got a hustle that they got to do. And I get it, man. I
Yeah.
fully fucking get it. But it's like I just think you do. The saying no to shitty gigs thing is not saying every gig you get offered is shitty and you need to be a pretentious asshole. You need to say no to the ones that don't make sense for you, and you need to
Yeah.
take every show. And the advice kind of goes back to, you need to take every situation, you need to take every show into consideration, how it's going to affect you, how it's going to affect your brand, all that type of stuff. Is this going to be positive for me? Is it going to build, or is this just going to be me going to a bar, burning my $40 I got paid at the door on booze, not gaining any fans, and also oversaturating myself? Maybe not do that show. You be a little more selective.
Right. I agree. So, what are the other topics that you gave advice on? 'Cause you gave you definitely gave quite a few. Um,
There's another one that's you see all this stuff. People put pressure on independent artists a lot to release music you need to release something every 2 months. For the algorithms on Spotify, you need to release, and you hear all these gurus telling you that shit. And a big thing for me is like, don't rush it.
yeah,
Unless somebody's paying your bills and giving you a deadline, which, like, I don't know about you, but everything I do is out of my pocket and I'm funding it myself.
yeah,
I'm not going to let someone else tell me how I do my art or release my art or brand my art or anything. I'm not letting anyone do, until you start paying the bills, until you
yeah,
start paying, then you can tell me what to do when you start paying my bills. But until then, I want to brand it the way I want to brand it. And if it's going to take you an extra couple weeks or an extra month to put something out, to do it the right way, take your time, do it right, be patient, be smart about it, and do it your way so you can feel good about it and put your full effort into it. If you're scrambling all the time, oh, I have to put this out according to this bullshit algorithm thing,
hmm
you are definitely sacrificing something in your art, and you're definitely sacrificing something in your authenticity, I feel. And you
yeah,
need, if you can do that and do it efficiently and keep, great. If you're a full-time artist and you're just cranking shit out all the time, good for you. I don't have that luxury. I have to work a job. I have a bunch of other stuff that I have to do. So, sometimes it might be 6 months or 8 months between releases for me,
yeah,
but that's how I like to do it. So that's another thing. It's like, you do have to take care of your mental health and your well-being, and do things true to you and what works for you, because what works for you might not work for me. What works for me probably isn't going to work for the next guy. Like, we all have our own
yeah.
our own spots, and we're all at different places in the journey. But that's another big one, is like this pressure and this rush to release stuff
Yeah.
all the time. It's like, if you do a half-assed job, it's not going to do well anyway. So take your time, do
Mhm.
it right, promote it right, make sure everything's right, and do it.
My advice is just take time where you're writing and recording, and then just hang on to it. So if you have like in a 2 month span, you've made like 10 songs that you're all happy with, and it's polished and everything, and then just say, okay, I'll release this song here and there. That's kind of what I did with YouTube. Is I took all my favorite songs I've had. I'm working on some new ones, and I have them all scheduled out, because you can schedule posts. You can do that on your Facebook artist page.
Yeah.
I wish you could do that on everything. If shit, dude. I mean, you could do a lot of TikTok videos. If I don't know if TikTok has it where you can just schedule it or nothing like that, but I said, for as far as YouTube, um, and there being consistent content, the whole race schedule, pick the date, pick the time, write, type out everything in the description, and that's something cool about TubeBuddy that got set, where you'll have use what you want in your YouTube description, like all your social media links, all that. You can have it set so every time you upload a video, it's already on there.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So yeah, I would say, yeah, don't rush things, but just take some time. Like, like my last project, I was sitting on that, and then sent it off to get mixed and mastered, and that way it was beyond ready for a release date. So I didn't have to rush to get it on whatever date I chose to release
Well,
it. It was kind of,
I like,
you know,
right now I am in like full itch, like super itchy to release shit. I have a video, I have a song, it's mixed, it's mastered, I'm getting ready to upload it for distribution, but I'm still giving myself enough time to promote it and get all my assets. But I want to put it out right now. I want to show you right now, because I have it and it's ready to go. But it's like, I want to cross all my T's, dot my I's, make
mhm.
sure everything is pristine for it, because I had to wait to work with the producer I worked with. I had to wait for the mix. I had to go shoot a video in St. Louis. I had to wait for the editing. I've had to do all this stuff. And it's like, when I put it out there, I want it to be as good as it can be. And
Yeah,
that's, I mean, I'm taking my time with it, and I'm not letting people rush me. I know some people are always giving me shit because it takes me a long time to release stuff sometimes. But it's like, it took a long time to create it. I know I want to give it the proper attention.
yeah, true. So what's okay, we got a little bit we're close. I think we got like 7 minutes left.
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's toss me in at least three more topics. Well, we'll end this on
Okay.
a pretty juicy note,
Well, let me see here.
because you,
I,
you got
I
some good ones. So I think it's
well, one of the biggest things for me is, um, don't don't be afraid of hearing no. Like, shoot your fucking shot. Every chance you get, shoot your shot. Push it, go, shoot your shot. If someone tells you no, if you need to be butthurt for a little while, be butthurt for a little while, get in your feels for a little while, get that shit out of your system, and keep moving forward. Like, you have to have a really, really short term memory doing this shit, because I mean, I always tell people, if you're going to do this, like, you better love it, because if you don't, you're not going to last long. You and I have been, you've been making music ever since I have started, I think, or maybe
yeah,
even before, but you're one of the few. You know what I'm saying? You see, like, I've seen a lot of people flash and they do really well for about a year and a half, and then it goes, it crashes and burns. You see a lot of people flash. Like, if you want to be consistent, no, sometimes no is the best thing you can hear. You can take a no, and you can take that feedback and learn from it. Like, this was like, I think this was when I released All the Good Times. I was really proud of that song, and I sent it out to a bunch of radio people and stuff. And I, like, people I had no business sending it to, especially where I was in my journey at that time. Like I didn't have shit. They were probably like, "Who's this clown? Why is he even emailing this to me?"
Yeah.
But I had one guy. No one responded. No one even acknowledged it. They probably just went click trash, click trash, click trash. But one guy from one of these places did respond to me, and he's like, "Man, this is a good song, good production. Just telling you, your numbers are nowhere close. You don't have near enough of a story. If I were you, I would focus on touring and I would focus on building my streaming platforms and all that type of stuff." Now, that's a no. I mean, it's a brash no. Like, you're not doing enough, son. Get the fuck out of here. But at the same time, it was like, here's a couple things you can focus on and build on
Yeah.
and grow from. So I mean, that's a big part of it. Like, take your nose and learn lessons from it. And I like, if you're questioning, another one is, if you're questioning whether to post that shit, post that shit. Put it up
Yeah.
there. Just keep shooting, keep blasting. Shit's gonna work. Shit's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Stop feeling like self-conscious about it. If I have an idea for something stupid on TikTok now, I just put it on there and move on to the next one. And if nobody sees that shit, I don't care. I you have to just keep. For me, you just have to keep chopping wood. Like, I got
Yeah.
a no today that stung quite a bit, that bloodied my nose a little, and I was like, oh god. On something I was really proud of, I sent to a guy, and I had high hopes, and it didn't work out. But I'm already over it, man. Like, I was a little bit in my feels for the afternoon today. I was
Yeah.
feeling a little down and out, and now I'm like, okay, on to the next one. I'm just going to keep pushing. I'm just going to keep looking for opportunities. I'm going to keep networking. I'm going to keep running my game plan, and just keep fucking firing, keep shooting your shot. Doing something wrong is better than not doing anything. Because if you do
Yeah.
something wrong, there's at least a lesson to be learned from it. If you're not doing anything, you're just sitting there going, should I do this? Should I release this? Should I not say this? Is this going to hurt someone's feelings? You know what? As an artist, if you're a little bit polarizing, that's good. If you're
Yeah.
pissing someone off, you're doing something right.
Right.
So fire away, man. Like, just go. Just be like cast iron, man. Let people tell you no. Let people hate on you. I've had people hating on me lately, talking shit, whatever, man. Like, I don't have time to waste messing around with that noise. Like, I have goals and I have things I need to do. Get the fuck out of my way. I'm moving on to the next thing. And
Yeah.
that's the mentality I feel. And what do I know? I'm not rich. I'm not making a living doing it by any stretch of the imagination. But, like, for me to stay happy doing it, and when I have that mentality, I'm always, a lot happier. And at the end of the day, man, this is art. It's supposed to be fun for us, and we're supposed to enjoy it. So, like,
Mhm.
galvanize yourself to the point to where you can put up with a bunch of shit and just keep plowing forward and be like, I love to make music. I'm not going to let anyone stop me. Just be like a fucking Terminator. I mean, that's my best advice, because you're going to hear no. You're going to have people shitting on you. They're going to change the algorithms. They're going to change this. They're going to change that. You're not going to be able to tour because of a pandemic. You're not going to be able to do this. There's always going to be an obstacle. There's always going to be something. And if you just keep
Yeah.
plowing, I mean, you're just gaining valuable experience every step you take. So
Absolutely. All right, man. Give me two more topics.
two more.
All right, I'm like the little
Damn.
nerdy kid who just like, but this is, I mean, more likely this is for this is really for the audience, but I'm enjoying
Well,
it.
there's like another big thing for me is there's 60,000. I was reading something. There's 60,000 songs uploaded to Spotify per day. If that's true, and you're just lobbing it out there and you're just mailing it in, when you upload that song, you're just putting it up there again, and then you're mad because people aren't listening to your shit. It's like, what are you doing to make your stuff stand out from every other artist in your genre? If
Yeah.
I've got 60,000 songs a day, and if you're not putting your best foot forward, why would anyone listen to your stuff? If your stuff doesn't look professional, if you don't take pride in it, why would anyone else?
Right.
You know what I mean? That I see people putting stuff out there like, "Well, I don't even care about this. Here's another song." I'm like, "What? That doesn't make me want to listen to that at all." Like, I would tell me why I should sell me something, dude. Sell me
Yeah.
why I should listen to this. And I think sometimes artists are like, and I guess the last point is fucking sell it. Ask for them people, ask for people to join your Patreon, ask for people to subscribe to your TikTok, ask people to join your mailing list, ask people to buy your merch. Go out there and push it. I mean, it's the lifeblood of what we do. People understand what this is. Like I can't record if I don't sell merch. I can't do anything if I don't sell merch, if I don't make money on shows or whatever. It's like it's not wrong to ask. And like I think artists are so scared these days because it's so oversaturated where people
Mm-hmm.
are like, he's just panhandling me all this. If that's how you feel, man, get out of here. You're not the person I want listening to my music anyway. People understand that this is a business and it's a hard business. And every once in a while, it's okay to ask for help sometimes and be like, hey, I'm investing a lot of my personal time. I'm taking time away from my family, taking time away from other stuff I could be doing to create this art. Hey, can you can you buy a koozie for $5? I mean,
Right.
sell your shit. I mean, sell yourself, sell your shit and keep hustling, man. That's the best thing I could that's the best advice I can give.
Cool. All right. One last one.
Do you
Save.
have one in particular or I have to come up with another?
Good question. Good question. What's one? Well, let me think about what would be a good advice I would give. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Who's ready to get pissed off? Because I'm gonna piss somebody off with this last one.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Invest in a graphic designer, please.
Yes.
For
My God.
flyers, for artwork, for merch. Here's the thing. Um, if you need a graphic designer, anybody, I got three guys. I got one from Omaha, Nebraska. I got one here in Tulsa, and I got one in the UK. All three of them do amazing work. Um, you're looking between 20 to $50.
Fiverr.
Um,
Fiverr
Fiverr,
is your friend. Have you been on
Fiverr, you can get on.
Fiverr at all?
Yeah,
There's graphic
watch
designers
out for.
everywhere.
Yeah, watch out for the social media management part of Fiverr. There's a lot of spam bots going on there.
Yeah,
I've
I've
heard
seen
stories.
that, but
You can tell they're like, we'll guarantee you 500 followers for $10. And I'm like, you can guarantee someone's going to hit the follow button.
if
You
yeah,
can,
people that's a great piece of advice. If someone is guaranteeing you a certain amount of followers or guaranteeing you a certain amount of streams, it's bullshit.
yeah, but no, Fiverr, great. You'll find great graphic designers on there as well. Unless, I mean, if you are very good, if you understand Photoshop or you understand, how to make a flyer and all that. But I see so many flyers for so many shows. I can tell someone got on the Canvas app or whatever and made it themselves. And it's cringy as fuck. If you want people to come to your show, if you want people to take your show seriously, if you want people to take your single, your album, or just your brand seriously, and or just get an actual, you know, uh, download an actual app and then learn how to do it if you want to save that kind of money. But there's so many bad flyers I've seen, and I'm sitting here like, dude, you can't spend 15-20 bucks at least,
If you can't,
so
then you're not ready to be making flyers. I
yeah,
mean, you shouldn't be
that's
playing shows if you can't make a nice
mm,
flyer. If you shouldn't be releasing music if you can't make a cool single art. Like, quit
yeah,
saturating the market with your stuff if you're not
yeah.
ready.
That's my big thing. That's if that was anything I could tell people to stop doing, it's just like, no, get a graphic designer. And that's definitely a big thing with me. There was, okay, let me end it on this. There was something there was a tip for musicians you gave, and I can't remember what the topic was, but it was very well spoken. that you did on TikTok? Well, I promise we'll end it on this one.
I'm trying to look, man. I've done so many of them. Let's see. Advice for artists releasing music. Which one is this one? That's the No Shitty Gigs one. Man, I can't believe how many I've done now that I'm looking back. Let's see. Yeah, I just started getting bold on that, and then I had pretty good response. There was negativity on social media. I did that one. I did music math. There's one that I did where it was like, hey, if you sell 5 MP3s, that would be like 600 streams on Spotify. So like, why are you focusing on worrying about streams if you could sell 5 MP3s and make the same amount of money?
Right.
You know, just the basic economics of that type of stuff. You're kind of putting me on the spot here, brah. Let me see which other ones I've got. Motivation for my independent artist friends. Keep moving. That was the one that I was kind of going over with, like, keep doing stuff the right way. Don't put pressure on yourself when you're releasing music. You know, take your time and get it right. What else am I doing? The no is the best answer you can hear. We covered that one. The no shitty gigs one. Man, I think we've almost covered all of them so far that I've done.
Yeah.
Is there one that I'm missing that you're thinking of that I'm not thinking
Nah.
of?
They're just, man.
I know I've been rapid firing.
Yeah, they're great. I'll have to get on your TikTok after here and scroll through, see if there's any I didn't see before. But yeah, man. But anyway, man, I'll go let you go. I'll actually be in Wichita a couple times coming up.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at Up in Smoke. It's a tobacco shop.
Okay.
I'm actually running sound there as well, but that's on March the 27th, and I'm gonna be at Kirby's on April the 8th.
Kirby's, nice.
That's actually going to be a whole rock lineup. I'm bringing my friend Freitas and then there's some Wichita local that's closing. But yeah, it's an entire. I'm actually going to be on the road with them. We're going to be at TJ Ledlin's, however you say it, in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be doing like a little mini weekend run with 2 solo rock artists, ironically. So
sweet. Yeah, I don't know. I know there's bare knuckle fights in Wichita on the 8th, so I don't know. I know some guys that are fighting actually, but I don't know. I could probably get by Kirby's too.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I'll be there. So
right on.
All right, man. Well, I'll go ahead and let you go, bro. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on again. Anytime you want to do something again, just let me know.
Oh yeah. Before you go, do you want to plug in your that lovely anti-social media links?
Yeah, I would love to plug my website, dustygrant.com, which would be the best place to follow me. TikTok is great, at DustyGrant57, at DustyGrant57 on Twitter, at DustyGrant57 on Facebook. My website has everything, www.dustygrant.com. That's the best one.
Oh yeah, man.
All righty.
Have a good night.
All right. I'll see you later, brother. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thanks for listening in, man. Shout out to Richard Reed, who was the first one to comment tonight. Have a good night, guys. That was fun. Awesome, man. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely hit the share button if you're on Facebook. And or you can share the YouTube link. So especially to any up and coming musicians that need this type of information. So I guess that's really all I got. I'm trying to do these live stream podcasts a little bit more often. I'm probably gonna do one real soon. We'll break down more of the whole analytic thing. I was gonna do one where I would show you guys how to run ads. At least what's worked for me. So anyway, I mean, that's all I got. So anyway, guys, Thanks for tuning in, and have a good night.